Hilburn claimed to be caught in a love triangle, and the result of that ended with her giving birth to her 10-month-old daughter. The defendant, Mr. Barnes, claimed he caught her with another man on Valentine's Day and is determined to prove he is not the father of the child. This was how the case began.
Which you say resulted in the birth of your 10-month-old daughter, Saray. But you're here to prove she is the defendant's baby.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Barnes, you claim that you discovered Ms. Hilburn was cheating on you on Valentine's Day. Your relationship ended, but soon after giving Ms. Hilburn another chance, you discovered she was still sleeping with the other man.
Mr. Barnes seems like a really good dad. Being there for everything just makes you want to have him as a dad. Now, how did it all go wrong with this sweet dad and Ms. Hilburn? Well, this was the next mind-blowing thing that came out of Mr. Barnes's mouth.
I couldn't be because she is still legally married, so I was not able to be put on her.
Oh, okay. I wasn't expecting you to say that, so she's still legally married to someone else?
And I would want more than anything to actually be her father because I was there. I've put the time, the commitment, the love.
Wow. Let's just say Ms. Hilburn has been one busy woman, jumping from one man to the next. Now I understand why she calls it a love triangle. Here's where things get even more complicated. Mr. Hilburn had no idea she was sleeping with another man.
Oh, Your Honor, it was always done while I was at work, so I had no idea. So the night before Valentine's Day, which is the first time it happened, I was at work. She said she was going to her friends. Okay, fine, go ahead. I get home, I try texting her, try calling her, no response. So whatever, I go to sleep. The next day, Miss Hilburn and the other gentleman come back to the house. They're brought by the people that they stayed with.
Wait, what? They were all living together? At this point, one can only ask if the situation is going to get any messier than this. Seeing that it's one hell of a mess, Judge Lauren decides to ask Ms. Hilburn how they got themselves into such a messy situation. Well, this is what she had to say about that.
Are you sleeping with both of them while you live in the house with both of them, Ms. Hilburn?
Yes, I was.
So, I'm not trying to give anyone tips, but how did you pull that off? How?
He would go to work. As soon as he left, me and the other guy would have sex.
Wow. Did both guys know you were with the other one?
Not all the time, they didn't.
Damn, that has to hurt. I can't believe she just said that to Mr. Barnes's face. I wonder what kind of lies she was feeding him. Oh well, that was not the craziest thing about this situation. They are both still sleeping with each other. To make things even more insane, she's pregnant with the other guy she was sleeping with.
Mr. Barnes, are you still intimate with Ms. Hilburn?
Yes, ma'am, but we use condoms.
Ms. Hilburn, are you also still with the other guy?
Yes, and 5 months after this baby was born, I became pregnant again.
Oh, so you're pregnant now?
Yes, 7 months.
You're pregnant right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Even Judge Lauren is out of words because what the hell is going on? She doesn't even know who the father of her unborn child could be. Wow. Now, when Ms. Hilburn found out she was pregnant, she claimed she told Mr. Barnes first, and this was how he reacted.
I told Mr. Barnes first. He said that he wanted to see the proof because there had been other times that I lied to him about being pregnant. So I took the paper to him and showed that I was pregnant, and he was happy because he wanted to be a father.
Okay, so even though she lied before about being pregnant...
I mean, you can see it on his face. Mr. Barnes's heart is broken beyond repair. What even hurts him the most is the fact that he loves the child so much. He goes on to tell the judge how devastating it would be if the results revealed that he was not the biological father of the child.
It would devastate me. I was there from day one. You know, the fact that she might not be mine, it hurts.
And I regret it. I really do.
Ms. Hilburn, there's a part of me that wants to believe you regret it, and yet you find yourself in the exact same situation again. I don't know how much more difficult a life lesson has to be.
Another blow to his heart. The poor man would wish he had never met Ms. Hilburn in his entire life. But things take another wild turn in the courtroom. Apparently, Mr. Barnes has a girlfriend with whom he claims to also be in love. Trust me, this is the craziest case ever.
Ms. Hilburn and Mr. Barnes, his girlfriend, the guy you're sleeping with, that's all the players.
Yes.
So, Mr. Barnes, you got a girlfriend.
Yes, I do.
Does she know about this relationship?
She suspects, but when you don't see your girlfriend for 7 months, you don't see her, What else are you supposed to do?
I think we've seen enough of this crazy couple. It just keeps going from bad to the absolute worst. Anyway, the results are in. It is time to see if Mr. Barnes is going to end up as the father of the child.
Mr. Barnes, you are not Saray's father. Mr. Barnes, you are not the father.
Still not going to change anything for the fact of Saray.
Miss Samantha had been on a lifelong quest. The aim? To prove that Mr. Froyo was her biological father, despite his decades-long denial. But here's the twist. He once signed her birth certificate. But tables soon turned, and now they were here.
You're sure today's DNA test results will prove that you are not, in fact, her father? I have to ask you first, Ms. Dixon, how does it make you feel that Mr. Froyo is denying you?
It makes me angry and hurt. I was diagnosed with cancer, and recently I've been very ill. I would like my father to be there.
Get ready for some family dynamics that can even make the Kardashians shy, and that's saying something. Poor Samantha had been dealt heavy cards, but she pulled through even though the man denied her and had been quite harsh to her when she had just been a little girl. Cue the craziness and a mysterious Tom Ashley.
I just want to know. I don't want him to feel sorry for me. He says he's not my dad, but he'll be there for me. I don't need a charity case. You know, if he's not my dad, he's not my dad. But if he is, I'd like him to know, like, I've been through so much. My grandmother passed away, his mother, in '98. At the funeral, he told me my tears weren't needed because it wasn't my grandmother.
I mean, what? So Mr. Froyo denied the daughter all these years, but guess what? He had a tattoo of her name on him as well. Now, what the heck was up with that, man? Apparently, one fateful evening in Florida ended up changing it all.
Like he said, he's got older children. All 4 of us are in a row, from oldest to youngest. My name's on his arm.
Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, why would you tattoo her name on your arm if you didn't believe she was yours?
Up till 5 years ago, Your Honor.
Are you serious right
You
now?
denied me in '98.
Let me ask you, hush up there, lady. I'm talking.
Mr. Dixon.
Ooh, back up.
Well, the guy wasn't winning any Father of the Year awards, that's for sure. On the contrary, he was the perfect candidate for the opposite category. Samantha ended up telling all the times and instances he had denied her. But there were some good moments of these guys. I know, hard to believe that.
If you have compassion or at least some type of affection towards Miss Dixon, because it's not being shown very much in the court today.
Whatever the paternity comes out to be, it is. I have neither dislike her or like her.
Well, absence of a father led the plaintiff down the wrong road, and there were consequences. But what was even more astonishing was the way the defendant reacted to the said situation. Man, this dude could give serious competition to all the jerks out there.
He sat in the opposite part of the funeral
I
parlor.
love the way that she can read my mind and she can predict what I say and what I don't say, Your Honor.
Did you show up to the funeral?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Was it
and no,
out
I
of-
did not make statements like that because that is unmoral.
You're unmoral.
I have more class than that. I have a lot more class than that.
So when you showed up to the funeral,
Oh dear, the confusion and desperation were palpable. Mr. Froyo was still standing by his testimony, listening to his supposed daughter pour her heart out, and he had the nerve to call that sympathy thing. Well, he was long due for a class in manners, and he was about to get one.
I don't care if you don't think she's your daughter. I'm talking about her as a woman, having to go through what she's gone through. And you don't have a level of sympathy for that? I really must say to you that it is disappointing for you to make a statement like that. And you are old enough. You're a grown man with kids.
Enter the daughter the daddy did not deny. By the looks of it, Mr. Froyo accepted her, but there was more. She was in full support with Miss Samantha. Yep, and even backed up her claim on daddy's preference for sons. Wow.
For him to take my brother, he had to take me. Did he want to take me? No. My mom made him take me. And yes, we used to go to Patty's house when my dad was with her. He wasn't always there. We were there with Patty. To me, it was a girl thing. I have 3 boys, did not want nothing to do with me until I had my first son.
Is it a sympathy game or a paternity revelation? Well, the results could decide that, and they were in. Judge Lake put a much-needed end to this drama and laid down the truth. Let's see whether Samantha's quest comes to an end or not.
Mr. Froyle, you are her father.
I'm a man of my word. Samantha, I apologize to you, and I'm wrong for being the witness.
Mr. Johnson says that Ms. Owen tricked him into signing his son's birth certificate. Currently, he does not believe baby Dakari is his, but he earnestly wishes that he is. Ms. Owens always believed that it was his baby. However, she sees a semblance between a 4-year-old baby, Dakari, and her ex, Mr. Tyson, now passed.
You two were in a relationship, am I correct?
Yes.
You got pregnant? He was at the hospital. Mr. Johnson was at the hospital.
you.
And I paid for him to come to the hospital. I bought his ticket. I paid for him to come back.
Where's all this coming from,
and
though,
I paid
man?
for him to go to Chicago to
So
live
wait,
with his
wait,
daddy.
wait,
That was
wait, wait.
$108.
Hold on.
She went on to sleep with another man, although she was in a relationship. Then she goes on to say that she was in love with Mr. Johnson, and that explains why she did not realize that there could possibly be another father. Apparently, all her focus was on Mr. Johnson.
You signed the birth certificate?
Yes, I did.
He ain't do nothing else. That's all he
And
did.
you were living
I
with?
was living there
Living
with her.
with,
When I went,
also
once I came there with her, you know, I was paying for everything. I was paying to go back and forth to the doctor
He
visits.
did not pay. He
All
only
that.
went. He ain't never been to one of my doctor visits with me, never in life.
Oh, now she says she's a woman and would not be referred to by anything else? Let's all play the petty card then. Ms. Owens called Mr. Johnson Little One numerous times in court today. He flipped the coin and called her a girl one time, and she is not having any of it. More so, who do we believe if these two are saying different things?
To learn from you how you found out the unfortunate news that Mr. Tyson had passed away.
was calling a friend in job for her, see how she was doing, and that's when she had told me that she see him on the news and he just got killed. And
Wow, that's unfortunate. And at the time she told you, you still had in your mind this could potentially be your child's father.
So from the very beginning, she really did believe Mr. Johnson was the father? No wonder he feels so betrayed now. How do you tell someone he's been the father of your baby for 4 years, then out of the blue, you switch things up on the resemblance card?
Or did you say to yourself, oh my goodness, this could be my child's father that passed away?
Well, Your Honor, like I said, it was never in my mind that he was my baby daddy. This little fella was in my mind, okay?
How could that not be in your mind?
These two having a serious conversation is almost like a joke. Even Judge Lake has a problem with getting a word in. Now, Mr. Johnson is extremely bothered by the fact that Ms. Owens did have intercourse with another man, but is making it seem like she forgot about that or something.
All of this, little one, have a seat. You're not making anybody look bad except
First of all,
yourself.
you up here talking to me?
No, I'm addressing him next.
Oh.
No. Let's get this straight. I address what I want to address in the order I want to address it.
You go, Judge. Judge Lake is back with her school bus, this time taking both the mother and potential father to school and right back to paternity court. In the middle of all this, Ms. Owens keeps trying to be dramatic. This time, maybe you should sit down instead, Ms. Owens.
I don't want him up here acting like you or you. I don't want him acting like either one of you. You are a terrible example to your child of what a respectful human being acts like. Clowning in here. And a child sitting up here and don't know if his father's here or in a grave. You clowning.
Now we're talking. All of that bickering to Judge Lake, it looked like we were never going to leave court today. For such a long time, they're completely losing sight of what's most important right now, and that's finding Dakari's paternity.
May of 2009, on the Detroit East Side, Alexis, shortly after that my son might be, I would like for him to be my grandson, and I have something from my son.
It's impossible to imagine how Ms. Williams is feeling right now. To genuinely want Dakari to be her grandchild because it would mean that a piece of her son remains with her shows how much her son meant to her. Bless his soul.
Mr. Johnson, you are not his father.
There it is. There it is. Right there. I already knew it from the beginning, though, man. All thing she had to do was come out and tell me.
Oh my goodness. The pain Mr. Johnson must be trying to hide right now is insane. To think that Dakari has Mr. Johnson's last name too. Imagine having a child for 4 years and then having that ripped away from you. Let's find out if there is a third paternity option nobody knows about.
Of relatedness is 99.99%. Ms. Williams, you got your wish?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Miss Scott claims she gave birth to twins, hoping to spark joy between her and Mr. Holloway. But that didn't happen because a bombshell dropped when Mr. Holloway questioned the paternity of her older child, Jaden. And so the drama began. And we are in for it now, aren't we?
When me and Miss Scott were in a relationship, she has kept in contact with Mr. Alexander the whole time throughout both pregnancies. Throughout her pregnancy the first time, she's contacted him through Facebook, text messages, phone calls.
So have you been contacting this man continuously, Miss Scott?
No, I have not.
Time to dive into the soap opera of their relationship. Yep, Mommy and Daddy's love story was a twisted web of on-again, off-again shenanigans. But the real kicker ended up being Miss Scott's long-term pal, lurking in the shadows of their romance and sowing the seeds of doubt.
How did this situation go in your estimation?
Me and Mr. Alexander were just friends. We did mess around like years ago, and he's been my friend about as long as I've known Mr. Holloway. Around the time that my son Jaden was conceived, I had no contact with him. We haven't even been in a relationship.
Oh, the drama! It was full of it! Mr. Holloway, though with a heavy heart, casted doubt on little Jaden's paternity. Why? Because apparently, baby mama maintained contact with Mr. Alexander, and not just one, but throughout both pregnancies. And the mother dearest of the defendant backed him right up on this one.
She admitted to me that she was going around where he was and they were together at certain times of that year. When she got pregnant in 2012, I ended up living with her at her grandmother's house and staying with her throughout the whole pregnancy.
Going to every doctor's appointment, being
So you all
loyal.
were together at this time?
At that
Ladies and gentlemen, gather around, because Miss Neal had a lot to say. But wait, as Miss Scott dished it right back. Oh yeah, now it was a party. Baby mama claimed they were never in a committed relationship. Okay, and yet Mr. Holloway wasn't buying it. Ah, the tangled matters of the heart.
I'm gonna be in the business because this is my child.
Yeah, your child is about to be 26
So
years old.
what you got to do with it?
He's not a baby anymore.
He's mine, not yours.
Not a baby.
So that's the only thing with that. That's why she have a problem like she does now.
Yeah,
this is why nobody don't want to help her.
You never
in the
liked
first
me
place.
from day one.
Yeah, I have.
Moving on, baby daddy was at birth and even acknowledged paternity. But then, during Christmas, his merry holiday changed swiftly into a devastating one real fast. Oh yeah! Who knew a baby picture on Facebook would end up crushing the guy? And Grandma was made the judge, jury, and executioner.
He looks like me.
She posted that picture on
my
Facebook,
mini-me.
and before I even saw that picture, I had saw Mr. Alexander in 2012, which was the last time I saw him face to face. And when I seen this picture, he looked just like Mr. Alexander. So that's when I began to have doubts.
I have a picture too, Your Honor, of it that my son.
So that happened, but that wasn't the end of it. Yep, listen to this. Apparently, there was a birthday party, and some parties weren't invited. Uh-oh, and they definitely didn't like that fact. And that fiasco led to another issue these guys were dealing with.
If it's not, I still want to see the baby. You be denying me from it.
How do I do that?
You know exactly
How do I do that? What,
'Cause
you
you
mad
tell
about the
me.
birthday party? That wasn't my place to invite you. You could have came. Matter of fact, I heard you was on your way. You didn't even show up.
No, I
That's
didn't.
not my place to invite you. And
Why?
me and you weren't
How come
even
it's
on
not your
speak-
place? You the
Me
mother?
and you weren't even speaking at the time.
Well, moving on from that, we ended on the day of birth. And man, was that filled with drama as well. You bet it was. It seemed Mommy didn't want the baby to be passed around the family, and the terminology she used for that was a little, shall we say, controversial.
He's telling people in the hospital like she's not finna be passed around like a trophy because I know that she meant she didn't want me to
No,
hold the baby.
actually, I meant, did you see how many people was there? How many friends I had there? It wasn't even about you. Why you make this about you? It's about Jaden.
It ain't about me.
So quit
It's
talking
always
about
been
you.
about it.
Anyway,
You the one that know nothing about it. It's
I'm
about
done talking
Jaden.
to you.
Until
I'm
now,
done talking.
Your Honor.
Next up, Mr. Holloway wasn't done casting doubts. Oh, he had more, and he relayed them. All pointed to Mr. Alexander, and about time we heard from this guy who managed to bring this level of chaos to these guys' lives. It's gotta be something.
When I saw this picture, and I know for a fact that Miss Scott and Mr. Alexander keep in contact, that they had a sexual relationship with, though.
While I was pregnant, no, I haven't. That was years ago.
This is not years ago,
And while
Your
I was
Honor.
pregnant with Jaden, he had like offered to even buy my son some shoes, just being a friend.
You're right.
He's not trying to take charge and be his daddy.
Drum roll, please, because the big reveal was here. Yup, the DNA diagnostics delivered the verdict, and boy, were we ready for it. Time to see whether all those doubts were true or the guy was just full of it.
Mr. Alexander, you are not his father.
Yes.
Mr. Holloway, you are his father.
Yes. Yes. The judge.
Thank you.